It's James Woods, aka that yoga dude with Feel Free to Feel Free. Welcome to the Feel Free to Feel Free show with that yoga dude, me. I just said all that and I'm repeating it again so you know who I am. And today, that's what we're talking about. Who are you? Who am I? And I'm learning that who I have been was based on the story that I was telling myself. And that has really shaped my life. And what I'm talking about with my story, I'm talking about the person that I have played into, the person that I have shaped my behaviors around, the person that I have shaped just my whole being and all that kind of stuff around, all based on a story, all based on circumstances and what I believe myself to be, and all the things that I created around that identity, which comes back to the story. So tonight I want to talk about how that story has impacted me, how it is impacting my personal development, and what I'm doing to make sure that story is reflective of where I want to go, not just who I made myself to be. All right. And I know you got a story that maybe you're aware of, maybe you're not aware of. For a long time, I wasn't aware of my story that I was living in. So it's, if you've seen the Truman Show, if you've seen even like Forrest Gump, if you've seen any of the movies, any movie where people are playing out a role, people are playing out a character based on the situations and circumstances that they are. That's just real life. We have the story that we tell ourselves that we are and we operate off of. I was going to the grocery store today and I overhear these two women just talking about another woman, calling her bees and calling her, all kinds of stuff. And like, oh, she not built like that. She don't got that kind of heart. That's not the type of person that she is. And they were identifying her based on a story that they told themselves about her. Like her behaviors just constantly showed up. This woman that they were talking about constantly showed up in a certain way. So they created a story about her. It was like, oh, she is, and if it would have been this, that would have happened. If it would have been this would have happened. Based on behaviors that the woman was called, they created stories, and then they created even more stories about that. Oh, she gonna do this, and this is what it's gonna do. Being in a family or being in a relationship or somebody always gonna say, oh yeah, he ain't that type of person. She ain't that type of person. This is the type of person that they are. This is what they do. They create a story for us so they can be comfortable. So and we do the same thing to ourselves. We create stories for ourselves so we can be comfortable. Okay, I'm gonna go in this place and I'm gonna act like this. I'm gonna behave like this. Now, this is not conscious. This is, as I say, subconscious. This kind of, we don't even have to think about the story no more because it's so ingrained in there. You are this kind of a man. You are this kind of a woman. You're a black man, so you go into a place and you got to act like this. You got to be aware of these things. That's the story that's constantly running through your head. And I realized that in my story, it didn't have too much about the things that I wanted. It's like, man, ain't got nothing in there about being a millionaire or anything like that. I mean, I got nothing in there about taking myself to the next level, doing what I want to do as a speaker, as a teacher, with my own personal development. My story had nothing in there about me being a yoga instructor initially, about me helping people, about me getting on YouTube. No, 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 no. My story is like, no, you ain't doing that. We don't do that. We don't talk. We don't open. So I really had to learn what my story was and is, and I'm still learning that. And I take time to learn what my story is by studying my behaviors, by studying the people that raised me and I've been raised around, by studying the people who have identified similar stories and kind of like, wait, okay, this is how we think, this is how we move, this is how we operate, but that's not how I want to move forward. So you saying this and you saying that, and that don't align with where I want to go no more. And I'm just having this conversation in my mind and stuff. So it's been important for me to discover what my story is by observing myself, observing people around me, and observing the people who are doing the things that I'm doing and seeing, okay, this is the conversations that we're having, this is the lingo that we have. And a lot of times this is stuff that I don't even think about. This is like, I hear somebody say, oh, you know about this and this how it goes. Or the phrase that people be like, oh, it must be nice to have this or have that. And I'm like, yeah, it probably is nice. And but they worked for it. They did what they needed to do for it. Whatever. It's not just about it being nice. It's about somebody wanting that in their life and then getting it or whatever it is. But learning what my story is by observing other people and then catching myself run that same story in my brain and my thoughts where I see something I'm like, oh man, that must be nice. It's like, wait, where did that even come from? Why am I even thinking that right now? Being able to think about what I'm thinking about, being able to understand my stories. And sometimes I understand where they come from. And sometimes it's just like, this story is no longer needed here. So then that comes to updating your story. After I observe my story and start to identify where it comes from and identify how it pops up and when it pops up, oh, for this week, really having a lot of things to do. And then my mind goes straight to James, you're overwhelmed. Ooh, and it sounds just like that. It sounds nice and caring. James, you're overwhelmed. And my response to that is, you're right, mind. I need to go run away. I need to just veg out. I need to hide. I need to step back and blah, 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 blah. And then when I address that story, like, just are you really overwhelmed? Or are you just learning and growing and expanding and got a whole bunch of new opportunities ahead of you? Oh, okay. Now I got a little bit more energy. I want to I want to go with these new opportunities. I want to learn. I want to continue to grow and expand instead of just, oh, it's too much. I'm not the type of person that is. I'm overwhelmed, and I really can feel my body start to come in and shut down. But when I update the story to, man, you're so lucky you got all these opportunities. Man, you are creating a system that works for you. Okay, that didn't work. We get the opportunity now to figure out what does work. Oh, I'm so blessed to have these opportunities. I'm so blessed to be able to have people in my life. I'm so blessed to have all this abundance. I got an overflow, not overwhelmed, but I got an overflow of things that can not only keep me busy, but keep me in a sense of abundance and creativity and growing and learning and taking those opportunities to generate what I want. Just changing my story instead of, oh man, I'm overwhelmed right now. I don't know what to do. I'm so confused. I'm so lost. And you see, I feel my body start to change when I start speaking like that. When that's my story, I gotta catch it and then I gotta update it. Oh, cool. Who can I bring in to help me with this? Who can I put on to make sure we get this done? How can I learn more in this opportunity? Man, what resource can I go to get the knowledge that I need to make this happen? Oh man, that story is my energy really changes when I get that story instead of the other one. So being able to update your story, first observe your story, what's going on in your mind. Oh man, these are the thoughts that's going on. This is what happens when I respond to this, that, and the third. And then we go to, instead of my story being this and starting to go down, how about I can make my story something that works for me in this situation? Oh, I'm scared right now. Okay, yeah, you should be scared. You're about to have a life-changing experience. It's about to be amazing on the other side. You just got to get through this fear and it's gonna be all good. I'm not enough. Compared to who? Compared to what? You more than you were last year, and you exactly who you need to be right now. You good. Having these conversations and update my mind by taking the thought that I'm going to and then bringing positivity to it. And then refreshing. Y'all know when you're trying to get on that website and it's taking forever and you click that refresh button and it's like, okay, cool. You're trying to upload your camera, upload your images, and you just got to refresh. Constantly refreshing the story in my mind that works towards my goals instead of away from it. And I constantly refresh it by listening to material that has a different story, motivational stuff, meditations, seeing other people's inspirational stories and really adapting it to myself. hearing different language, reading books that help me change the language in my mind, practicing with my own affirmations. This is who I am. This is what I'm doing. So when I'm overwhelmed comes up, like, no, that's not on my affirmation list. How can I be that when I'm telling myself a whole different story? Refreshing myself by not being around the people who got the old stories much. Or when they start saying that old conversation, boom, mentally shutting it off or physically walking away so I can keep my new story in my mind refreshed. James, this is you doing amazing stuff. James, you are the best right now and you only getting better. James, you got it. James, you really the person that you need to be right now. Man, that is a whole lot better of a conversation than any other stuff that starts to bring me down. So constantly refreshing it by on a daily basis going through affirmations, on a daily basis checking in with my mind and making sure no lack thoughts in there, on a daily basis reading positive material, listening to positive material, refresh, keeping it on like a fresh pair of drawers, keeping that mindset in the positive, keeping that mindset and that story reflecting where I want to go, not just what I need to get rid of. So make sure you learn what your story is, then update the story to your goal to make sure whatever you want in your life is at the end of that story, and then refresh. So I hope this has been helpful for you. And I hope I see you at the Monday meditation. So every Monday we doing our meditation. Let's see if this is clicking through. Cool. Don't forget to do your mountain pose. Get your yoga pose in there. Boom, 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 boom. I just want to mention it to you so we can have that a part of your pose, a part of your story that you do yoga on a daily basis. That's a part of your story now. Yeah. It's a part of mine and it's a part of yours right now too. You do yoga every day, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10, 90, whatever. You do yoga every day. Yeah, that's who you are. That's what you do. And you're doing mountain pose today if you haven't done it already. So go ahead, stand up, get your mountain pose. If you're in your chair, take your chair version of it. We ain't there yet. And get your mountain pose on. Feet strong, hips strong, shoulders strong, confidence. Find that confidence in there, build it up. That's strong and powerful as a mountain. Breathe in. Breathe out, let it go. Thank you. Appreciate that. I need that. All right. Join us Monday for the weekly Monday Live Zoom meditation. Go ahead and scan that code. And I'll see you Monday just for 15 minutes during your power break or whatever. And I'll see you Monday. Every Monday Live Zoom right here. And if you want to join the folks with the stories that are producing the results that they want, if you want the results in your life, if you want to reflect a new story, a story of you being relaxed, a story of you making time for self-care, a story of you finding the balance and getting yourself healthy and well, we got some scripts for your new story here in this Yelling to Yoga course. So go ahead and sign up and we got you. We got you so you can get you really transform your life. Health and wellness. If you want it, it's here. All right, so I will see y'all all next week. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom, boom. So thank you so much. And as always, feel free to feel free and namaste. Peace, y'all.